Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have the Women in Tech panel. Our host is the founder and CEO of STEM Atlanta Women. She's known for changing the way employees live, work, and play. Speaking of the future, Maxine is the visionary leader of the girl-centric STEM Innovation Academy, which is scheduled to open this fall. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Maxine Cain. Maxine.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Again, I am Maxine Cain. I'm the founder and president of STEM Atlanta Women, and I am here today with some amazing women. We're excited to be here to talk about Beyond Diversity, Advancing the Human Spirit. And so I have with me Dr. Mitzi, Bronwyn Morgan, Tia Buckham-White, Sunshine Nance, and Jacque Rushin. So again, we're excited. Before we get started, we want to show you guys an awesome video, so cue the video.
Once upon a time, business as usual was often good enough. No more. Where we are going, good enough is dead. In a world where everything is connected, where everything is equally excellent, where performance is reaching perfection, there's only one space left to innovate in: you. Right now, you are a central point in the raging tornado of change fueled by digitization, mobilization, augmentation, disintermediation, automation. Well, the list goes on. Science fiction is becoming science fact. Think about self-driving cars or computers that can learn and think. The way we work will never be the same. The skills we need will be dramatically different. Winning or losing are now happening faster than ever before. So what's your response? How will you discover new opportunities in one of the most transformational times in human history? Are you driving change, or are you being driven by it? Disruption has become the new normal. With change, it's always gradually, then suddenly, well, things really have stopped happening gradually. This change is exponential. Everything that used to be dumb and disconnected is now wired and intelligent. Cars, cities, ports, farms, even our bodies will be wired with sensors and will talk to each other. These game changers are also combinatorial. They amplify each other, creating a perfect storm of change. Quantum computing fuels big data. The Internet of Things fuels artificial intelligence and deep learning, which fuels robotics. However, anything that cannot be digitized or automated will become extremely valuable. Human-only traits such as creativity, imagination, intuition, emotion, and ethics will be even more important in the future, because machines are very good at simulating, but not at being. Yes, robots and software will do some of our work, but this will allow us to focus on things that cannot be automated. To imagine change squared, you've got to start engaging more with what might be, not just with what is. Immerse yourself in the immediate future, 5 to 7 years out from today. We need to go beyond technology and data to reach human insights and wisdom. Technology represents the how of change, but humans represent the why. The future is about holistic business model. The opportunity is to be liquid, to learn just in time, not just in case, not single improvements, but complete transformations, not individual systems, but new ecosystems. Humanity is where true and lasting value is created. We will engage, relate, and buy things because of the experiences they provide, because of their transformative power. The future doesn't just happen. The future gets happened. The new way to work is to embrace technology, but not to become it. The future is in technology, yet the bigger future lies in transcending it. Let's live and lead from here.
Wow. That's one of my favorite videos. Favorite. And it is from my beautiful friend, Tia Buckham-White at Notre Internationale. So Tia, can you share with us what predictions do you have in store for this audience relative to what we just saw in this video?
Well, you know what, I use this video a lot for leadership development work that we do and talking with people that are in technology about focusing on self. And so one of the predictions that we see or we have is people having a deeper understanding of themselves and things that they actually want, how they see themselves working, how they, are they operating in their life from a standpoint where they are just doing what they were told to do. As technology and AI continues to advance, the jobs that we have today won't be here in the next, 10 to 15 years. Things will be different. And if we don't understand how to gain new skills, operate better, interact with people better, it's going to limit us because technology is going to be taking away some of the things that gave us the value, that gave us the get up and go to work every day. So we really have to be mindful of ourselves, understanding why. If you look at the video that the futurist Jared Leonhardt just, when he delivered it, one of the things that he said in it that I think is so powerful is things that can't be digitized will go up in value. Mm-hmm. That means things that can't be digitized are our relationships. Things that can't be digitized are our opinions, our intelligence, the way we see the world. So focusing on ourselves a little bit more than we do, not just behaviorally, but really understanding what we think and want is going to play a huge, huge role in the future.
Thank you so much for sharing that. You are absolutely right. And I think you guys all know I have some amazing women on this stage, and each of them have a whole lot to share relative to their respective industries. So Sunshine, talk to us a little bit about your perspective of what you just heard and as it relates to future of learning at Boxlight.
Thank you, Maxine. It's been interesting to watch this video and to follow you up. I've been in the education technology space for about 20 years, so I've seen a lot of change in that time. The company I work for is Boxlight, so we develop and manufacture interactive technology solutions for classrooms. So how that's changed over the years, I'm heavily involved with STEM, and that's how I came to know Maxine. But I have access to schools, and I see that things are changing from curriculum-based, knowledge-based, children and students being tested on facts, and higher ed students, students that are getting ready to graduate, leading the way in what it is and how they want to pursue their careers, having experience with businesses locally, developing and questioning and asking, and to the point of the video and to what you said, really being involved emotionally with their future and their decisions. So I see over the 20 years that I've experienced that it's moved from curriculum-based and now segueing into an area where students are predicting their own future and setting the pace for that, developing relationships, getting out into the business world, and providing that emotional piece that technology doesn't necessarily provide.
Thank you so much thank you for sharing that. You're so right. At STEM Atlanta Women, we really love what you guys are doing at Boxlight. The whole whiteboard technology and just the work that you're doing in the classroom makes a difference, and so I appreciate that.
Thank you.
So Bronwyn, same question. Tell us a little bit about your perspective as it relates to the drone industry and the work that you're doing over there.
Certainly. Right now I'm leading 2 drone companies. One is a drone pilot training academy called Airversity. So if you want to learn how to fly, we can help you. And Zeo Air, which is a commerce platform that allows us to actually manage missions for clients in a digital environment, and also a sophisticated back-end data management system that includes AI and a bunch of other amazing functionalities. And for me, I'm either in innovation right now or aviation, and I also teach meditation. And I'm finding that, when I go to speak to people or introduce the drone industry to them, it's, this is all brand new news, this is new information. And it is transformative. It's one of the biggest and fastest growing sectors of technology. And so there's a huge need for new skills and new capabilities as we move into automation and delivery. So we need drone pilots, we need data folks in data science, artificial intelligence, geospatial data. But when you start to peel that back, I'm already thinking, I'm in a disruptive industry, but I'm thinking 5 years ahead. I'm already thinking about when those current roles go away and we no longer are operating behind the controller as drone pilots, but it's all autonomous. I'm now thinking about that next level of job. And so I want to make sure that the entire workforce is included. People who've been displaced in rural communities, people who are just coming into the workforce, and then people also who are in the workforce who are a little bit older and experienced. There's a place for everybody. And the one thing that I see people doing right now is soul searching, because the question is, where do I fit in? And where will I fit in? And that's something, as Sunshine just said, we've got to be thinking about where do I fit in? Because this is no longer a thing that's going to happen, it is happening. 25% of all jobs that are currently in the workforce now, over the next 5 to 10 years, they will be gone.
That's right.
And so this is real, it's happening now. Companies are already planning this downsizing. So the traditional pathway into work might be very different. You may come work for a startup, but start to think about that, and also be just thinking about who you are, because what it means to be us and human as we interact in these sophisticated environments and there's less touch, what does that mean for me? And I can help you meditate and figure that out. But we really do have to soul search individually, but also think about where we want to go.
Thank you so much. I tell you, I am absolutely amazed at what you do in the drone space. And what's her name, Zio? Zio. Did you tell him about Zio?
Nope, can't tell them that yet.
We're working on some
Secret technologies that, again, will mimic real life in our industry. So again, those touch points of the human-to-human touch point are going to be less and less when it comes to everyday commerce and experiences, and we're going to miss that. So we're a little guilty of that, but we still, one of the most important things to me is customer service, because I hate to reach out to a company and all you get is a bunch, hit this button, hit that button, or do chat. Sometimes I want that, but sometimes I just need to talk to somebody, and we want to continue to maintain those kinds of touch points at our company. So we pride ourselves as a differentiator. Customer service is a differentiating point when it seems like it should be a standard. So, but more news to come. Follow Zio Air, and you'll hear about some of the things we're doing. Thank you.
Thank you. So, as we transition over to pitfalls, like what's happening right now, what should we be prepared for as it relates to pitfalls in the tech industry, Jacque Rushin?
Well, as we look at technology and how it's being developed, we constantly talk about everything being connected. The problem is everything is connected, but everybody is not connected. We're divided right now, and these same social issues that we have today, they won't be resolved because we bring technology in. As a matter of fact, it'll take us further away. When you think about homelessness and sex trafficking and generational diversity, and the fact that we cannot get along and have a conversation, technology doesn't help us with that. As a matter of fact, it takes us further away from being human. We can't have conversations with each other without fighting. We can't select our leaders. You have social media that we hide behind today, and it's only going to get worse. Until we learn how to work together to advance the human spirit, we cannot go forward. It won't be pretty for us. We are people who love. We live off of love, and we thrive from love. When you consider that there are about 327 million people in the U.S., 108 million of those are 50 plus. But what have we said about people who are 50 years old? We say they're too old. We say they're outdated. So we're creating an ism against humanity. Our responsibility is to sustain humanity, not build business cases where we displace ourselves and say that we're irrelevant. We can build all of the technology. Who owns the technology? When I was growing up, there was this thing called the man. You all ever heard of the man before? Everything was blamed on the man. I kind of know who the man is, but then I really don't. But I asked myself, who's asking for this technology? Who has a reason to break down the generations where we say people, when they get a certain age, they're no longer relevant, or when they're too young, or when we talk about innovation, we say we need young people. If you've lived long enough, you know that innovation comes from all walks of life. Now that I'm a baby boomer, you know what I think about? Innovative ways to make my life better. When I was 20 years old, I thought about 20-year-old things. If I was disabled, which my mom became disabled, I started thinking about being disabled. We are people who need to love, and we've got to learn how to love now. But what are we doing? We're developing androids to emulate us. Do you all like to make love? I just asked a question,
Nobody clapped.
Okay, nobody likes to do that, okay. Well, now we're building all of these artificial intelligence and androids to love, and we're putting human skin on it. For what? But that is a symptom of a bigger problem, that we don't respect each other and love each other now. Technology is not going to change that, which means that while we're excited about all of these marvels that technology can bring, the question is, who's going to have access to it? Who's going to have access to the technology that helps us to see better, walk better, speak better? And the reason I talk about love, because it's about procreation, right? And part of Maslow's theory says that that is a part of who we are. We take who we are today into the future tomorrow if we don't fix it.
Wow.
Wow.
That was amazing. Woo! Thank you so
You all
much,
weren't clapping
Jacque.
when I asked if you like to make love, but that's okay.
That's why we love our Jacque Rushin. So, same question, Dr. Mitzi, as it relates to pitfalls in the world of medicine. Can you share your perspective on that?
Absolutely, and that was a tough act to follow, but that's okay, I'll do my best. So I think that many of the pitfalls that we could run into in medicine are very similar to what Jacque was talking about in the tech field. I think the first thing that we have to be aware of is making sure that we're inclusive. You know, I work in neuroscience, and so in our field, a lot of our innovations are focused on people who are younger, who are in earlier stages of disease, or many of our studies are conducted in populations that don't reflect necessarily what we see here in the US. So I think that it's going to be very important to be intentional about making sure that the populations that we study and the research that we do is reflective of what we see in real life. Because many of the issues that we run into is if we have a study that's conducted in Eastern Europe, for instance, and then the treatment patterns are different, the types of patients that are enrolled are different. When we try to use that medicine here in the US, oftentimes we don't get the same results because we're not working with the same population as in the study. I think that another thing that's going to be very important moving forward is protection of data. So there is this move for registries, and so there are collaboratives that are being looked at in different parts of the country, as well as a national collaborative with the NIH to create a registry of 1 million people in the US to try to advance scientific research, because I'm sure, as you know, scientific advances in research doesn't move quite as fast as tech, right? So we're a little bit slower because of trial regulations and things like that. But it's going to be very important to protect that data, right? So if you get 1 million people and you have the genetic data and you have blood samples of 1 million people, you have their information, how are you going to protect that? And how are we going to restrict who has access to that data and what they use it for, right? Especially if it's owned by an entity like the government. So that's going to be extremely important. And then I think the final thing that, or one of the final things that's going to be hugely important is making sure that we remain humane in the medical field, right? So with technology, with medicines, with all of these advances, we have to remember that medicine doesn't do everything. There's a part medicine plays, but it never takes away the part that we play, right? In our own health, being advocates for ourselves, doing things like exercising, eating right, all those things your mama and your grandmama told you to do. All of those things are still relevant, and we don't want to become so dependent on the technology that we forget that essentially our health is our responsibility, and that we have to take control of that and advocate for ourselves.
Wow. Does that mean I gotta exercise more?
Yes.
Well, I just want to say thank you so much to each of the ladies on the stage for sharing their perspectives, and to thank each of you for being here this morning. But I also want to give a huge shout out to Moxie for being a big supporter of STEM Atlanta Women. And one thing that I want to make, make sure that I share is that, we have a new program coming out, and it's called STEM in the City, which is a multicultural diversity program for for young women, so to speak, in high school. So you'll see our girls lounge outside, and we have artists that are going to be out there painting together. A lot of the students are going to be painting together our new logo, which is the B, and all about innovation. And again, it's STEM in the City, multicultural peer mentoring program for girls in STEM. So please check us out. We'd love for you guys to learn more about it. But I do want to give a huge shout out and thank you to Moxie for being a huge supporter of us and allowing us to be here today. Till we have a few more minutes. Do you want to share anything further about, self-awareness and the video, and how we kind of wrap up today and what to expect in the future?
Yeah, I think that I love the fact that, every woman's perspective on here really came from a different angle, which is also part of that cognitive diversity and diversity of thought. And one of the things that I think, if you take anything away from that video, if it made you think and it kind of made you say, ooh, wow, I didn't consider it from that angle, just realize that technology is moving, and the more we understand our individual selves, the stronger we will be as technology advances past where we can even imagine today.
That's right.
So whether it's thinking about how we innovatively think, put teams together, how we treat one another in a way that allows things to work better, because the lack of that is costing companies a lot of money, right? And the reason that the diversity issue, I think, is a limiter is because sometimes leaders are not aware of the things they're carting in, and power is blinding to the team, and then they're just going along because you follow the leader. So I do think that if you took anything away from the video, it's really just remembering that the future's already here, and we are the best place to innovate in, and remembering the human side of our interactions and knowing ourselves is really going to be where the power is for the future.
Thank you so much. And thank you guys so much for having us today. We're done.